It's just after 2 a.m. here at the corner of 6th and Main in downtown Tulsa, where the Tulsa Police Department has just arrested 9 members of the Occupy Tulsa movement.
What's your step?
I can't see.
Okay, I will let you drop off.
Where am I going? Where am I going?
Some of their faces colored with pepper spray as they were led away handcuffed.
This is what a police state looks like!
The not-so-friendly ending to an evening that just a few hours before,
there's an overwhelming majority of support from the general public.
It's 9:30.
That's right.
And Samuel Malik, a veteran, stands alongside roughly 20 protesters, each with their own reason for being in the movement.
I'm not in school this semester because the federal government cut my Pell Grant, and I'm a veteran. This is insane.
We're going to exercise our freedom of speech.
For the next hour, there would be shouting of purpose.
They'll see that our rights are trying to be taken away from us.
And mission and mutual inspiration. Just after 11, a handful of officers approached the group to inform them that they were violating the law.
Curfew has come.
Deputy Chief Darrell Webster trying to reach a, quote, middle ground with the protesters.
Does that count as a sidewalk?
Explaining that the park had to be vacated, but that the sidewalks were fair game.
And so the tents need to come down off the grass, dismantled, onto the flat, and stay dismantled. And then you all are free to remain on this sidewalk area.
We respectfully decline!
The protesters rejected the offer, and with that, the deputy chief left, leaving behind concern that the next visit might not be so cordial.
They may become violent.
A core group of protesters, those intending to get arrested, gathered in the grass, many of their arms scrawled with the phone number of an attorney.
Occupants of Centennial Park, this is the Tulsa Police Department.
Finally, just over 3 hours after the police tried to compromise, they returned with massive force, once again urging the protesters to leave.
Anyone that remains in the park will be subject to citation or arrest.
With no compliance, the police moved in, surrounding the group on the grass
We are nonviolent!
and beginning the first arrest with a dose of pepper spray.
To me, that right there was police brutality.
Not all of the protesters were sprayed, but the fact that it was used at all outraged many of the spectators.
There was no call for that. It was not the people were fighting at all.
Pepper spray is used in cases where there is resistance. In this case, it was used only on persons who were actively resisting arrest.
Get back.
In all, 9 were arrested, including Samuel Malik, the vet upset over his Pell Grant. The arrests inspiring the remaining few left behind.
I mean, what happened when they turned the hoses and dogs on people in Birmingham, Alabama?
Burt Mummolo.
You are the 99%!
Tulsa's Channel 8. No, you are not watching The Blair Witch Project, although the motion sickness you're starting to feel is strikingly similar. What you are watching is life from the perspective of a cat.
She's under there.
She is Perilla, who, like most photographers, is much more comfortable behind the camera than in front of it.
Hello, Perilla.
This was my first time interviewing a cat.
Yes.
And it wasn't exactly easy.
Perilla.
Showing her work is much easier, like the piece titled Reflections on Yet Another Photo Shoot Near the Fountain, Meow. The hardware capturing these moments?
And the camera comes out. It's about this size. And it has a USB port, microphone.
Like any typical artiste, it can be challenging to get her outfitted for work. And once she starts working, she doesn't like to be told what to shoot.
We're definitely going to edit out anything that would be offensive to anybody, obviously. We don't want that to get out into the public. You know, children are around.
Like when the cats drink and smoke.
Right, yeah.
Philbrook does take on a whole new aura from a cat's viewpoint. There's the pond filled with giant orange hors d'oeuvres, the menacing Egyptian eagle, and that dastardly Art Deco dog.
Interesting that you've got all this phenomenal artwork, and yet we're here because the cats have cameras.
That's right. Well, you know, this is a typical modern art.
And so, bowing to the ego of a Picasso.
Perilla. Hi, Perilla. Hi. I can see this is your hangout. You've got some cat posters up in here. Okay, I am petting the cat.
Finally, earning a modicum of trust, Perilla agreed to come out for an interview, which of course you're saying, well, that's just stupid. But as it turns out, there's an app for that.
I ask it and then it'll translate it. Okay. Perilla, are you happy in this new role? She says yes.
She says her work will be a transcendental experience for humans, and that much of her own experience is simply looking for food.
When you hear this sound, what do you think? It does make you hungry.
Watch out, Matisse. Move over, Da Vinci. There's a new genius on the art scene.
Perilla. I guess that's all of our interview for now. At the Philbrook, Burt Mummolo, News Channel 8.
She's breathing about 24 times a minute right now. Lost blood pressure 130 over 96.
It's not uncommon for a trip to the emergency room to save someone's life, unless that life is saved by seeing someone else lose theirs.
A lady had just came in and that was dying, and I had to stand there and watch her die.
Caleb's visit was part of the Youthful Drunk Driving Prevention Program.
So you'd be coming in this door here if you came to this funeral home.
A shock and awe approach to getting people between the ages of 16 and 25 to straighten up by showing them where they could end up.
They're going to be spending a lot of time at the cemetery because they just can't believe you're dead.
Floral Haven's mission is to comfort the grieving, but in this class, there's something very Vincent Price about Stephen Moeller.
The way we embalm a body is we locate a major artery.
Which brings us to a different major artery. I-244 near the Delaware exit and the intersection of Youth and Alcohol.
Tulsa police officer Don Byerly was injured when his cruiser was rammed from behind this past October.
It's October of 1980, and Sergeant Byerly had just pulled over a vehicle for a traffic stop when he was hit from behind by a 24-year-old drunk driver.
It's always had a personal meaning for me to hear the stories of how Officer Byerly or Sergeant Byerly had lost his life.
The sergeant had a wife and 2 small kids. He's been memorialized with a plaque at the police academy and an annual award in his name that goes to the top cop in the state for DUI enforcement.
Byerly was then honored by his fellow officers with a 6-mile-long procession to the Floral Haven Cemetery.
Keep going.
Back at the program,
We're going to go out and to the right and down the sidewalk.
There's a procession of wheelchairs and walkers at St. John's, where the kids are seeing what it would be like to live with a post-drunk driving injury.
Things that you normally do day to day to get yourself breakfast, lunch, dinner would be a huge challenge.
October 1st of 2000.
They also meet someone living that life, Chris Birch, former marathon runner who sustained a brain injury when he was hit by a drunk driver.
Here's a picture of my car. We still have the car. Some of you may have seen it if you've been to crash court.
It's heavy stuff, and it has an impact that's felt by the entire family.
He's my only child, and I couldn't imagine living life without him there.
That's Angela, Caleb's mom, who had to write her son's eulogy.
Couldn't go anywhere together, but he didn't see a friend.
Stephen reads them to the participants for the first time at the funeral home.
I deeply grieve that his life was short. You brought me so much joy to my life.
Every night when he was little, I sang him to sleep, and the last song I always sang was "You Are My Sunshine." And he really was my sunshine.
I just ended up started crying.
The program hit Caleb and his mom especially hard because Caleb's drinking and driving hit especially close to home.
It's hard to talk about my son doing the one thing that cost me my dad.
Byerly was eulogized as a good officer, a good family man. He is survived by his wife Diane and daughters Angela and Kathy.
He died from getting hit by a drunk driver. And then now here I am, his grandson, going out, drinking and driving.
Like, how could you do that? How?
What would you say to your grandfather if he was here and your eyes just got big there?
I don't know what I'd say. I probably wouldn't be able to say anything.
These are the moments when actions speak louder than words.
All right, Mr. Byerly.
And a picture is worth 1,000 of them.
The case is going to be dismissed and expunged off of your record.
Caleb Byerly completed the program with flying colors.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And sitting on the mantle in black and white is Sergeant Byerly, with a staring, silent reminder not to do it again.